Welcome to Pera's Playbook. This is your host, Alex Pera. Let's open up our playbook and see who our guest is. Please enjoy. Welcome to another episode of Pera's Playbook. Today we're joined by Max Kessler. He recently was in a movie that was long awaited. He had a nice little role. We're gonna dive into that. I honestly can't remember what number episode this was because I've recorded so many episodes in the last week. I'm like looking at what I posted and what. So I think this is like episode 204, maybe, but it might be 205. I don't know. I'll know it before I post it. But yeah, we're happy to have Max on. And that movie, for anyone wondering, is Happy Gilmore 2. Maybe you noticed that Max kind of looks like an actor that we all know. We got a lot of stories about that Max is going to tell us. But how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me on. Really excited to chat today.
Yeah, it's I saw all your stuff on Instagram and I was like, I'm gonna message this guy. Maybe he'll answer. Like I know that Adam Sandler isn't gonna answer me, and I know that John Daly's not gonna answer me, but maybe we can get somebody who was in the movie to
hmm
come on the podcast and chat about it. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. I mean, we can dive into everything that your experience with it, but we can just talk about the movie in general too. I know people have had mixed reviews on it.
hmm
I personally liked it. It was what I expected. It's funny. It's not a cinematic masterpiece, but it's got a lot of funny moments. Um, and I think with the amount of cameos that are in it, it's really fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think I really enjoyed watching it. I think growing up and watching the first Happy Gilmore, you're just at such your bar is set so high, right? Like it's an incredible movie, and your bar is set so high. But I agree with everything that you said. I think it was really funny. I think a lot of the cameos did a fantastic job, and I think Adam took this one, really seriously. I think he worked his butt off, and it shows, to be honest.
Yeah, and we can dive into that more here in a little bit. Before we get to anything Happy Gilmore too, let's have you tell the story about how you got connected with Adam in the first place years ago.
Yeah, I happy to. Pardon the pun. So I, so I met Adam in 2016. Dating back to pre-2016, everybody has always told me, from the time I was probably 8 years old, that I looked just like the guy. And in 2016, his character's name was Max Kessler, which is my name in his movie The Do-Over. And I remember seeing that, and I'm like, there's no way that this is real. Like someone had to have taken the movie trailer and changed the words and done something because this cannot be real. And it was real. And I posted the same thing I just said to Reddit, and it went viral. It blew up, and he invited me out to the premiere of the Do-Over, and we met on the red carpet.
That's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of a stab in the dark too. You just put it on Reddit. You probably didn't expect to end up at the premiere.
No, exactly. I mean, this predates, Instagram being a thing from like an influencer perspective, like a virality perspective, and it definitely predates TikTok. So there really wasn't any way to get in touch with him outside of like Reddit or Twitter or sending an email. I mean, it's not that long ago, but it is, if you really think about it. So I didn't expect him to reply or to see it, but when he did, I was like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah. You say it's not that long ago, but we're going on like 10 years ago, which is crazy to
I
say
know.
that. Like
I
I know how
know.
you feel. I feel like anything in the teens, I used to think like, man, that was just a few years ago. No,
I know.
no, it's
I
not.
know. It's wild. It's wild because that first quote unquote journey, if you want to call it, like it still feels like yesterday. I mean, it's the first time that I was in front of cameras at the red carpet or that I did interviews on, the likes of Good Morning America and such. And to me, it feels like it just happened. So when you say it was 9 years ago that happened to now being in Happy Gilmore 2, it feels like life does go by a little bit too fast when you really break it down.
Yeah. Were you pretty nervous? Like when you went out there to meet him and stuff? Or
Yeah.
were you more excited or?
I think the first, so obviously the red carpet time, for sure nervous. I mean, you're meeting somebody that's just unbelievably talented and gifted in his field and just like a living legend. So when you're about to meet someone like that, not in like a private back room where it's just the two of you, but then in front of, all these cameras and people and, hype, um, I was definitely nervous, but I did my best to not show how nervous I was. So I'll let you be the judge on if I came off nervous or not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would be like half nervous, half excited. It's like that exciting nervous,
Exactly.
like
Yeah,
this is so awesome, I can't wait, but like also I don't want to make a fool out of myself. Like it'd be so hard
exactly.
not to.
Exactly. Because in the back of your mind, you know, you that experience in 2016, you almost want to like, because everybody's always told you, not necessarily because of me, but because everybody's always told you, you should be in a movie of his, you should be, it was almost like in that moment in 2016, how do I show him that I'm somebody that can actually, work with you if there's something that comes up. So it was almost this like undue pressure of like enjoy the moment, but then also kind of show that, I'm ready and I'm here if you ever need somebody that looks like your younger self
Yeah, it's kind of like a job interview or like
in
an
a way.
audition in a way, you had to have made an impression for it to come on, later. What? But first, like next day, like did you ever think you just kind of go on with your life? Did you ever think something was gonna come up, and you just kind of kept living your life and like, that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the beautiful part of this whole thing is like you have that experience in again 2016 and then 9 years later, within those 9 years, nothing is really happening from like a Max is gonna be in a movie per se. Like I did a couple stand-up comedy classes and performed a few times at Gotham Comedy Club in the city. I did a couple gigs in upstate New York. But I wasn't really pursuing it per se, if that makes sense. And
Kind
then
of just a hobby.
exactly, hobby, kind of cool moment. And again, it's like it was almost like you went viral a little bit too early because if you had gone viral maybe in 2019, 2020, 2018, whatever, in that range, maybe you have a million followers on Instagram and TikTok and you can go do something. But where I was, that wasn't a thing. So I was more like in this tweener state of what is the next thing, and the next thing really ended up being going back to corporate world and doing your job and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into, the Happy Gilmore too. I mean, how did you get the role?
Yeah.
Did they reach out to you?
Yeah, so I was somebody sent over a message asking if I was interested in the role. I think the funny thing is I live in New York City and they were filming primarily in New Jersey. So really close by. And they were putting up extras, castings, postings everywhere. I don't know if you even stumbled across them, but they were everywhere, especially in this area. So I had countless friends and family and colleagues reach out and say, you have to go be an extra in Happy Gilmore too. Like, how do you not do it? But in my mind, I already met Adam. And like, if I hadn't met him, maybe I would have showed up to be an extra and just kind of, say hi, show my face. But I already did that. So I respectfully was like, I don't know if I'm gonna, go do extras work. It sounds like a lot. Even though it's an amazing and really cool experience. Fast forward maybe a week later, I got a DM asking if I'm interested in this role, and I was like, all right, I guess we should rock and roll if they're interested in me.
Yeah. That's really cool. Did you doubt it at first? Were you like, is this real? Like, or
Kinda, not as much the second time. I think I had an idea. I mean, they were looking for somebody, and I think it made sense. I think I doubted a little bit if I was qualified because I look like him, right, when he's this age. Not identical, but pretty close.
yeah,
But I'm not a pro golfer by any stretch, and I've never done acting in any film, let alone a massive, major motion picture. So I doubted if I could pull it off.
yeah.
If it came to that.
So did you golf at all? Like just for fun, just leisure, or were you ever a golfer or
Yeah, like leisurely, I would. I would go out. My grandpa's a big golfer, so ever since I was like 8 years old, we'd go to the driving range together. Whenever I visited him, which was maybe 2 or 3 times a year. So I wouldn't say consistently. And it kind of leads you on to the next point of like, how did I even get to pick it up? And countless hours of golf lessons with the most amazing golf pros that you can imagine because they really turn that swing into dynamite.
Yeah. But at least you went in, you weren't completely clueless. Like you
No, I
knew what a
wasn't in
golf
clear.
club was, and
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, yeah,
sometimes people go for stuff and they end up, like I've talked to some people who were in Cobra Kai and they were
yep,
like, I'd never done karate before, ever. I mean, I got a role in Cobra Kai, but I never took a class in my
yeah.
life. It's like, so okay, now you're starting from square zero. So at least you had at least the
I
basic
had some.
knowledge of the
Yeah,
sport.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I have to be honest, when I first watched the movie, I just assumed that it was like Adam with a lot of makeup
Yeah,
on to make him look younger in that first
yeah,
montage. And
yeah,
then when I saw it, I was like, holy cow, that was like a totally like I didn't notice.
yeah, yeah.
Like unless you know, it's pretty close resemblance.
Yeah, no, I mean they did a fantastic job, and I think I was so lucky to have been a part of something like that, just because you never know if that role or that type of need comes up again. So the fact that they had that need in that role and it was right place, right time, right age, um, it's yeah, incredible.
So how long was the filming for you? How many days did you
Yeah.
have to spend there?
So I did about 15 plus or minus a couple. I think it was in the range of 15. So sprinkled in depending on the day. I did a lot of golf scenes, which obviously makes sense given Happy Gilmore, and then a few other location shots as well. But it was more than I anticipated or expected when I started when I started the role, which was a good thing because it meant that I guess I was doing something right, and I was able to continue doing my thing.
Yeah. Hey, you've got some scenes where like you see your face, even though right, you're happy, but it's you, right? They have an angle like the scene that's supposed to in the beginning montage where it's like him sinking a putt and like the way the camera spins around, like we get to see you, and I think that's cool. There's so many people that they might have like a smaller extra role in a movie. It's like, yeah, but I saw the back of their head.
Hmm.
Like nobody but them knows that
Yeah,
it's them, but you like we actually see you in the
yeah,
film, which
yeah.
is even cooler too. You never know
It
what
was,
angles they're gonna
yeah,
put in.
absolutely. I think that's a really good point. Like I had an amazing acting coach. Because again, like just like golf, this more so, I had never acted before. So she was incredible, to say the least. And I think it got me in the mode of like, how do you act in a film? But then also, how do you act in a film as close to Adam, as you can? How do you get his mannerisms, how he walks, how he talks, how he moves? Um, but then also mirror that with like, if you were, doing the scene, how would you do it? How would you celebrate? How would you say the line? So really interesting to kind of do both of those at the same time, if you will. Yeah, the whole thing, just if you look back on it, at least of me, it just has so many layers to how I got to the point at which was able to, which was ultimately me watching that movie for the first time.
Yeah, it's very interesting. For a smaller role, it's very complex. It's not your
Hmm.
general extra type role. It's very unique in the sense that you're almost playing Adam playing Happy in a sense. You're supposed to be young Adam Sandler. Like when people watch the film, they're supposed to just think that that is Happy Gilmore. Right?
Hmm.
That's Adam Sandler. So,
Yeah,
it's very unique, the layers. But I think that's kind of cool. That's what makes this role of
yeah,
yours so awesome and fun to talk about is it's not just to like, yeah, I was a caddy over in the back and you could kind of
yeah,
see me. It's like, it's
yeah.
very unique. Nobody else is
It's
going to have a similar experience.
yeah. I think it's interesting because like you had a ton of cameos that were there, and a lot of them were. incredible. I mean, I watched the movie just like everybody else, and I was laughing a great deal. But with because there were so many cameos, like from an actor perspective, there weren't like a ton of actors that were just like there relatively consistently throughout the entire shoot. And I was there a lot. And it just makes it that much more special, I guess, from my vantage point that like I was really involved in the cast. Like I didn't just come in and do a couple days and, sign my name. It was a real experience. And I didn't expect that going into it by any stretch. Non-actor, non-golfer, um, takes this type of role. I didn't expect it.
Did you get to meet any like a lot of people or anyone like when you were around for filming different
Yeah.
actors or cameo people?
Yeah, I did. I mean, the obvious is Adam. Like the two of us work pretty close
Did
together.
he remember you pretty well from the
Yeah,
whole
from
Max
26.
Kessler
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, he did, which is great. Which like I wasn't surprised just because it was like such a moment. Like it's hard, I know he meets a ton of people and runs into a ton of things and a ton of experiences, but it was kind of like a well-known story. So I wasn't shocked. But he definitely met me. We picked it up right where we left it off. I worked a lot with Julie Bowen, which was great. She's fantastic. Unbelievable to work with. Helped me so much. Like if I was nervous or if I was, freezing a little bit, or she could tell I was, had a lack of confidence. Like she would carry me through scenes. She'd give me pep talks. She'd help me get through it. And I think that was just remarkable. So she was great. And then there were just like a bunch of golfers that I'm not an avid golf fan, but it was still really cool seeing people and meeting people that are so successful like in their sport.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it. I was very surprised when they killed her character
I
5 minutes into the movie. I did not see that coming.
I know. And they don't tell, like I didn't know that. It's funny because every day I was there filming, I was majority of my scenes, I think almost 100% of them were with Julie Bowen. But then when you go and look back at the first few minutes, she's not really in a lot of those scenes that I was in with her, a couple. So it's just I didn't know they didn't give me like the whole script or anything, so I didn't know that she was going to be killed off in the first few minutes, and I was just as surprised as everybody else, to put it that way.
Yeah. So did you master the Happy Gilmore swing?
I did, I did, I did.
Yeah.
It's a cool swing. I actually think it might work if you spend as much time trying to execute it as you can. I did. There was like one day, I think this was like 2 days before going out to film. And this is just me like wanting to be super comfortable and confident going into it. I must have spent 4 hours with one of the golf coaches. And I was like, we're just going to do back to back to back. I mean, just ball, 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 ball for 4 hours. My hands are cut up. I'm just like trying to get through just so I can get to a point which I felt comfortable. So it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun too, though, as it was.
Yeah. I've tried it a few times, just like playing with friends. And the first time I tried it, I think I hit my ball straight into the woods, like really aggressive.
Yeah,
Like it was a lot of
probably
speed, power,
crushed
but
it.
it was gone into the woods. I was like, okay, that never getting that one back. And I tried it a couple
Yeah,
more times, and I actually hit one straight. It wasn't super far. It was like maybe 250-yard drive, which for me, I was like, okay, like that's the farthest I've probably ever hit a drive. I'm not a long
yeah.
driver.
I
So
was
I
gonna
was
say
like,
that's crushed. Yeah.
I was very surprised that it was like a hole that had a dog leg, and at the bottom of the dog leg
Hmm.
there were all these trees. And I hit it straight at that tree line, and it like landed in some roots. And I was like,
It's
wow,
awesome.
I used that app 18 birdies or whatever on my phone, and it gives you the distances.
See where it goes.
So it
No,
does
honestly,
work.
though.
Yeah, it totally
Yeah.
does work if you can get it's hard because like
Not
you're
easy.
obviously you're walking up to it, so it's really easy to like aim way one way or the other,
Of
but
course. Core hit behind it, in front of it. No, I mean
yeah.
and it's funny too because the goal is you run up into it, but then you run up into like what should look like a pro swing. So it's not like you're running up into like with a hockey or baseball swing. Like you're coming back into like this, quote unquote like pro form. And that's what makes it really challenging is to kind of go from run up to pro form.
Yeah. Did you watch or are you aware of, how Bryson DeChambeau, he has a series on Instagram called Break 50. Did you watch the one with
I
Adam?
I did. I did.
Yeah.
I love it. And he's great, Bryson DeChambeau. I never
Oh yeah.
actually met him on set, unfortunately, but I love his stuff. I thought he was great in the movie, but then I love watching his TikToks and Instagrams. They're great.
Yeah, he's got an awesome personality. I
He
could
does.
see him being in more movies, like people like picking
Absolutely.
up on that. I thought Adam, it was really awesome. Like to see him. He's not a bad golfer himself. He
No,
was holding his own with Bryson for a little bit there, but I think those videos are really awesome because it's not acting. It's just Adam being himself. He's just on the
agreed.
golf course hanging out, and it shows you that for like all of us sitting at home, like, hey, he's a pretty chill guy. For as
Absolutely.
famous and popular he is, he's pretty chill.
Absolutely. I think that's like what makes it so fun to do a movie like that with him is just because he's exactly that. Just great to be around. And my experience working with him was just it was unbelievable. And it's nothing, earth-shattering that I'm saying this because everybody expects it, but it's true. I mean, he's just such a great person and he took someone like me that had never acted, and put me under his wing and he helped me execute and forever grateful for that experience and his help there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you never know. I mean, now that you've worked with him in a films, right? The first time you met him, it was just like, hey, on the red carpet. But
Yeah.
now you were in one of his films. So would there be potential for another role in the future? You never know. I mean,
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you
yeah,
really never do know. I think Happy Gilmore 2 was such a success that I could see them doing. I mean, I have no knowledge of any of the stuff, but maybe they do another one of the sequels and they need someone, for flashbacks and they call me up. I think the hardest part for me now is, I loved it. The experience was amazing. And it's how do you kind of what's your next move? And I think it's really hard because you're known or I'm known now looking like Adam. So outside of that looking like Adam, how do you kind of morph that and take that and you do something else, whether it be on your own, whether it be a new series, like how do you become Max? Maybe Max, quote unquote, young Adam, like in quotations, but how is the big bold letters Max as opposed to just young Adam? That's the battle that I face now moving forward to whatever comes next.
right. You don't want people to just think of you as the guy that looks like Adam Sandler because there's so much
Exactly.
more than that, right? If you want to audition for a role, and the first thing oh, you're that guy that looks like Adam Sandler. Oh yeah, it's like, okay, but
Yeah.
like I'm not here. I'm auditioning for a different role. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like I feel like some actors talk about how they're just like typed into certain roles. They always play the bad guy, and like they're just known as
Yeah.
the bad guy, but they don't want to be.
Mhm.
Like they want to be able to do other things. It's very similar. You don't want to just be
Yeah.
the Adam Sandler guy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because I think, and you'll see probably on Instagram and TikTok right now, a lot of my posts have just been like, hey, let me take you behind the curtain so you can understand like my experience, how it was so crazy that I secured this role, like the
Yeah.
2016 connection. I think that's awesome. And then like five or six cool stories and let me take you guys behind just to show like how it was like working on a movie set. That was kind of my original plan and then to kind of go off into what is Max. And we're approaching that point now. So we'll see what ends up happening. I'm struggling with a few different ideas that I want to take it. But we're almost at that point where Max is going to start to be the main character.
Right. Do you have desires to act more, get into, comedy more, do more stuff now that you've had this experience on a film set?
I think so. I mean, I think like I'm not quitting my job and saying I'm going to go full force in acting and social media and whatever. I do think life is about experiences. I think that this was an amazing experience that I had, and I am all for the next experience that comes my way.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to. There's a lot of people that, right, you can have a regular day job, you do a little
Exactly.
acting on the side, have a few nice roles, fun experiences. You don't have to go for that I've got to be a superstar and I've got to devote my
Exactly.
life to it.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. So overall, what would you rate the film?
So I have to say 10 out of 10 just because I'm biased, but I'll give it a little bit more thoughts. I thought that, Bad Bunny was hysterical in the movie. I thought that he crushed it. It was just great. I personally probably my favorite scene was earlier in the movie, and that was when they were playing golf with the three other individuals, and I'm blanking on
Mm,
the names of the characters, but it was like Adam didn't they didn't know he was Happy Gilmore
yeah.
until kind of halfway through. I thought that that whole scene was just hilarious because they were clearly all like jumping up and down. They weren't like crushing the ball. It was just like such a funny clip. Um, that besides for my scenes in the beginning, I actually thought that that was my favorite point in the movie. But no, I thought it's hard to rate it. It's hard to compare it to Happy Gilmore 1. I think like I said, it's a classic, but I think that they really did a good job. They worked really hard, and I think it showed with this finished product here in Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah, I definitely think they did all the characters justice. Like I like how they brought the characters
Yeah,
back. Everybody from the guy that was from the IRS, like now he's a lawyer. Like just
yeah,
small. I think that's great. It pays homage to the original
yep,
cast. Um, they even though, some of those actors had passed away, but in the graveyard scene, like you see the
exactly.
grandma's great, like it honors those characters even in a small way. Um, but it's still its own film. It didn't copy the first film. It's
No,
its own story, which is
yeah,
always something you worry about with these sequels. Is it just going to copy it?
yeah,
Um, no, I
yeah.
thought it was really funny. John Daly, I thought was hilarious. Uncle John living in the garage. I mean,
I thought he was
like
great. I thought
when
he was
Scotty
great.
Scheffler got arrested. Oh, not again. I
Yeah,
mean, like they that was awesome, right? You take the most like timid, family man, professional athlete out there, and you have him beat somebody up and get arrested, right? Like it's perfect. It's
yeah. No, I agree. I think overall, I think they did a fantastic job. And to your earlier point, looking back on it, I think it's cool that I'll have this experience. Like the do-over was like part one. It was like the appetizer, but the entree almost was completed. And I think I keep saying forever grateful, but really am because I don't know if there are many other, production studios that would have said, let's hire this kid for this type of role. So it very, very grateful for that opportunity.
yeah, no, it's such a unique experience. And I think people in life need to value experiences more.
Agreed.
Everyone's always shooting like, I need to be the best. I need to do this. I
Agreed.
need to do that. Oh, like if we're looking at athletes, they'll be like, that guy only played a couple games in the NFL. He was a practice squad guy. But
Yeah.
his experiences were probably awesome. He still practiced with the Green
A
Bay
hundred.
Packers for, like, let's not downplay what people do and
Absolutely.
like you don't
Absolutely.
have to be a big movie star. Like, awesome experience. Most of us would probably give anything to have the experience you had, like be on
Yeah. No,
set, be
absolutely.
around those people.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes that's like you make a really good point. And I think, it's funny because when you land a role like this or, the whatever it is, 2016, this past year, you always have people in your ear kind of saying, okay, well, what's next? Like, you start posting on social media, you'll become X. Like you always have people that really want the next thing. So I feel like for a minute there, I probably got a little lost and like, no, like this is what it is. I mean, you just, live this experience. This is an incredible experience and like enjoy it and don't take it for granted. So I think it's that part too, kind of like tuning people out while you're going through something and just saying, I'm going to enjoy it. I don't need to think of the next 10 things. Like, let me just live in the moment. And it's really important to do that.
Yeah. No, I think what's next is like I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna
Hmm.
keep working. I'm gonna keep living my life. Like what's next doesn't have to be something crazy.
Agreed.
Like I had what's next on the question, but I just meant like life is a little different, right? Like
Yeah,
um it's not the same. You've experienced this awesome thing, so it just feels different now. Like not in a bad way, not like you have to go on and do more movies or your life doesn't amount to anything. I feel like that's kind of a lot of people, like you said, they want the what's the next big thing? If you don't do anything more, you were a that's
yeah,
the wrong you got to live in the moment, kind of like you were
agreed.
saying.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it's a good question, like what's next? I think that's kind of the beauty of this whole thing is there's no pressure for what
Yeah.
next really is. And I think I can always look back and say not many people have been so lucky to have worked on something like this, especially people, that have never even didn't have on their radar that they were going to be in a movie just because, I'm working a corporate job. So just recognizing how cool and unique that experience was and allowing me to live it, and to always have it is important.
Yeah, even if you never do another movie ever
Yeah.
again, nobody
Yeah.
can take this away from you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's next could be Uh, I'm just gonna keep working. I'm
Yeah.
gonna hang out and enjoy life. Like, what's next doesn't have to be, oh, I'm gonna shoot for 1 million followers on social media.
Exactly.
Right? It doesn't have to be
It doesn't.
that.
It doesn't. And sometimes, it's I always struggle with this because and it kind of goes on to like if I wanted to do the social media stuff, you want to do something that you actually think you're, A, giving something back in the form of entertainment. So people are genuinely, watching you because it's funny or whatever it is. But B, arguably more important that you enjoy doing and that you want to make and you want to create because you don't want it to feel like a job per se. You want it to feel fun and all that good stuff. So I think that's probably for me. What's next is what can I do that makes me have fun? What can I experience that I haven't yet? And take it one day at a time.
For sure. So, what would you say was the best moment for you filming? Like most
Yeah,
memorable from the whole
yeah,
experience?
yeah. So probably my favorite moment, which is so funny because I actually just posted this video, but probably my favorite moment was at the end of filming. And I remember when I wrapped up the scene, everyone started standing up in the room and clapping. And I was looking around like that, and I was like, are they clapping for me? Like, what's going on? And then I hear somebody in the back yell, "That's a wrap on Max," which basically, I guess, when you're done filming your last scene for the movie, they wrap you, and everyone kind of claps. And in that moment, I was like, like I did something that I never thought I could probably pull off. So like in and of itself, that's incredible. B, it's done, so I can be a little bit more relieved. But C, like this appreciation that they all showed me, you just felt so valued in that moment. And it was just a feeling like I've never had before to that degree at like my corporate job. Like I've never um no one's ever just stood around and started clapping. So it was just so cool to be able to experience.
Yeah, no, that is awesome, right? Because they don't owe you anything
No,
in that moment,
no,
and that's something you'll probably never forget.
never, never. I was lucky enough, my wife was there because no one had seen any of the sets to date. So finally I was like, you gotta come, like just to experience it. So it made it that much greater because she was there and like got to see it all happen. And it was just like something that I didn't really have to relay again because she could kind of see it in real time. So I think like that also was nice to have someone in that room and experience it.
Yeah. It's kind of cool that you got to step in the shoes of an actor for a few days. You got to see how their life is. Right? I saw your video where you talked about the scene where you're falling into the water and how you had to
Yep.
keep doing that and the makeup and like you kind of now you have a little bit of an understanding of
Yeah.
what it takes, what actors go through.
Crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And I think like when I watched the the movie with the cast and crew, like that screening, you had people that were in the makeup department or the um, hair department or whatever it was, wardrobe, and in different parts of the movie, everybody's standing and clapping and cheering and whatever, because there's so much work that goes into each thing, like from the hair to the costume to the design to the sets to the. So I just have such a greater appreciation for like the movies and how they're made. Um, as opposed to like, oh, did I like the movie? Yeah, it was okay. All right, great. Like now I realize how much work actually goes into every single take that's done to create these types of movies.
Right. Yeah, the actors get all the credit, but none of it would be
Yeah.
possible without any
Oh
of
my
the
God.
behind the scenes work.
Nothing. Nothing. I mean, they are unbelievable. And boy, do they work. I mean, it's uh, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a very thankless job. I mean, they get their
Extreme.
name on the credits, but
Of
it
course.
speeds up at the end, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like you can't even read them. You gotta pause if you're like, if you
Yeah.
know, say you had a family member that worked on a movie, you'd actually have to slow it down to be able to
Yeah.
possibly read their name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
very thankless job.
Yeah. And they like I said, yeah, they're the backbones of these projects. I mean, it's really it blew me away, and it still does, seeing how involved and how many people are behind these movies. It just fascinating.
Yeah. What's your favorite happy? I mean, happy. What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
Um, you know, probably I like Billy Madison. I like that one. I like that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
You
Happy
want to say
Gilmore's good
Happy
reference.
Gilmore too, right? You want to say
Yeah, I'm gonna refrain from any Happy Gilmore references, but no, Billy Madison is great. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think a lot of his
yeah,
movies, the funny thing is, throughout the years, they all share some similarities, but they also have differences, right? And I think
yeah.
that that's what makes them so fun to watch. Um, yeah,
Yeah, Billy Madison's a great one.
it's great.
I've always been a big Grown Ups guy just because we got so many
Grown Ups is
comedy
great.
legends. I mean, they're
Yeah,
phenomenal. But he's just such a phenomenal actor. I mean,
he is.
one of my favorites, I don't know how many people have seen it, but Hubie Halloween, the on
Yeah,
Netflix. I love
yeah,
that one. I don't know, I watch it every year in
yeah.
October.
No, I think, I think he's an incredible actor, but sometimes what maybe even gets lost is how hardworking. I mean, this guy has made how many movies? I mean, an exorbitant amount of movies. Um, and like his work ethic is just it's unmatched. Like it's incredible. And I think that that's where I have like such a high level of respect for him, just because like what he's accomplished over the years is it's unbelievable.
And I think it really shows something about the person he is that he always has his friends in his movies. Even if
Yeah.
it's just a really small role. If you watch Adam Sandler movies, you recognize the same actors because
Yes.
he's always bringing them back. And I think that's so cool.
Yes. Absolutely. The loyalty is there for sure.
Yeah. Well, why don't we wrap up the episode a little bit
Great.
more about Max? Not Happy, not Adam lookalike, just a little bit more about Max. Like what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? You're wearing a Syracuse shirt. Are you a
Yeah.
big Syracuse fan? Do you like sports? Like, what do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, I'm a big sports fan. So Syracuse basketball is my team. I went there for undergrad. Married now. We got married last December, so that's fun. Like 6 months ago, whatever it is, 8 months ago now. So that's a lot of fun. We had a New Year's wedding, which was a really good time. We share a Portuguese water dog together, so that's makes life very interesting because the dude has a lot of energy. Um, and outside of that, just into sports, play basketball a good amount and live in New York City. So try and enjoy as much as I can while I'm still here. The restaurant scene, going out scene, like all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, congrats on being newly married. And that,
Thank you.
my wife and I, we just had our 1 year anniversary on the 10th.
Oh,
So,
amazing.
yeah, a couple of newlywed guys here.
Yeah, there we go. And where are
Um,
you living? Are you in
Upper
Canada?
Peninsula of Michigan.
Michigan.
As
Okay, heard
close to
the
Canada as you can get without. People always say that because of the accent. I remember going to
yeah.
Tennessee as a kid, and they said, "Oh, y'all from Canada?" we're
Yeah,
close.
very close. I could hear it. It's awesome. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Basketball, big basketball guy. It's too bad we're far away. I like just not that good. Just play pickup. I'm
That's
starting
what
to
I do.
slow
Yeah.
down too, right? It was
Well,
old, not that old, but just getting old enough where I'm like, whew, I'm getting a little out of shape.
I no, I hear you. Yeah, I love it. I find myself sometimes needing a little bit more of a break than I used to be able to, but listen, Adam is still playing and he's much older than
Yeah,
us. So I
he's
think I
good.
think we
He's
still
really
got some
good.
time, and he's pretty good. So we
Yeah.
got some years ahead of us, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, I want to keep being athletic, and I'm a big golfer. Um I like playing basketball. I like doing things outside. I like
Right.
being active. Um I mean, I think it's just the most like spending time outside, some of the most enjoyable.
It's the best.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the
And I think it
best.
helps keep you young. I mean, like that's one
Does.
of the secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it's health is important. Like I think we try and definitely be pretty active. So I think that's it's all great stuff. It makes you happy. It keeps you happy. It's important.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I really appreciate you hopping on the podcast, sharing your story.
Of course.
It's such a unique, cool story. Just such a unique role. It's really awesome for you. Have you had lots of requests, people wanting to talk to you? Have you been kind of
Yeah,
overwhelmed or?
no, yeah, I have. But I love meeting new people. I mean, they're all really fun. They all ask kind of different questions, so they make these experiences great. And we'll see what happens next. There's definitely opportunities that may present themselves in the near term, but I think right now just enjoying the announcement, enjoying Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you have to. You have to live in the moment because
Yep.
you can only do it once. It's only going to
Yeah.
be big right now. So live in the now. And yeah, it's super awesome that you could come on here and share your thoughts.
Of course.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more episodes soon.